In the deepest chambers of forgotten manuscripts, where candlelight flickers against parchment worn by centuries, there exists an image that has haunted scholars and mystics alike. A face, human in its familiarity, yet mounted upon the powerful frame of a lion. This is no creature of earthly realm, but something far more ancient, far more profound. The entity known as Purson, a name whispered in reverence and fear across the corridors of esoteric knowledge. Picture, if you will, standing at the threshold between worlds, where the veil grows thin and shadows dance with purpose. Here dwells a being whose very existence challenges everything we believe about the nature of reality. A fallen angel whose story began in the celestial heights, only to descend into realms where knowledge comes at a price few dare to pay. When medieval scribes first set quill to parchment to record his likeness, their hands trembled not from cold, but from the weight of what they witnessed. For Purson appears not as the grotesque demon of popular imagination, but as something far more unsettling, a royal figure whose human countenance speaks of intelligence, of awareness, of secrets that span the breadth of time itself. The chronicles tell us he commands 22 legions of spirits, yet this number carries significance beyond mere military might. In the mystical traditions, 22 represents completion, the full cycle of spiritual journey from beginning to end. Could it be that his placement in the infernal hierarchy reflects not punishment, but purpose? If you're drawn to these ancient mysteries and want to journey deeper into forgotten realms of knowledge, consider joining our community of truth seekers by subscribing to our channel. Within the forbidden pages of the Ars Goetia, the first section of that infamous grimoire known as the Lesser Key of Solomon, Purson holds the 22nd position among the 72 demons catalogued within. But why this specific placement? The ancients believed that nothing in the celestial order occurred by chance, and Purson's position carries meaning that echoes through the halls of mystical mathematics. 22, the number of letters in the Hebrew alphabet, the number of pathways on the tree of life, the number that completes the major arcana of the tarot. This is no coincidence. Purson's rank suggests he governs the completion of knowledge itself, standing as guardian at the threshold where all understanding converges. The medieval texts describe him as a great king among the infernal nobility, wielding authority that spans across temporal boundaries. Unlike his demonic brethren, who might specialize in war, seduction, or material gain, Purson's dominion encompasses something far more precious and dangerous: the truth of all things, past, present, and future. His 22 legions serve not as soldiers in conventional warfare, but as gatherers of information, collectors of secrets that mortal minds struggle to comprehend. Each legion represents a different aspect of hidden knowledge, from the whispers of ancient civilizations to the unspoken truths that lie buried in human hearts. But here lies the first great mystery. If Purson commands such vast knowledge, what drove him from the heavenly heights to his current station? The texts remain silent on this crucial detail, leaving us to wonder whether his fall was punishment or purposeful descent into realms where such knowledge could be more freely dispensed. The ancient chroniclers attributed to Purson a power that would make even the gods envious: the ability to perceive across the boundaries of time itself. Past, present, and future unfold before him like pages in an open book, each moment crystal clear, each possibility mapped with perfect precision. Imagine the weight of such sight. To witness the rise and fall of empires in a single glance. To see the threads that connect a child's first word to the last breath of civilizations yet unborn. The medieval accounts speak of those brave enough to summon Purson seeking answers about lost treasures or future events, but they rarely mention the price of such knowledge. For time, as Purson reveals it, is not the linear progression we imagine. Instead, it resembles a vast web where every action ripples across centuries. where every choice echoes through generations. Those who gazed too deeply into his temporal visions often returned changed, bearing expressions of those who had seen too much, understood too completely the interconnected nature of all existence. The grimoires record specific instances of Purson revealing the location of buried treasures to those who summoned him correctly. But the true treasure, it seems, was never the gold or jewels themselves. The real prize was understanding the stories behind these hidden hoards, why they were buried, by whom, and what their discovery would mean for the finder's destiny. Beyond his mastery over time's mysteries, Purson guards another secret that has captivated human imagination for millennia: the locations of hidden treasures and concealed riches. But the ancient texts suggest that his definition of treasure extends far beyond mere material wealth. The medieval accounts describe desperate souls calling upon Purson during times of war and famine, seeking buried gold to save their families or their kingdoms. And indeed, many found what they sought: chests of coins hidden by fleeing armies, ancient hoards secreted away by forgotten nobility, precious metals buried by those who never returned to claim them. Yet the strangest aspect of these discoveries was not their abundance, but their timing. Those who found Purson's treasures invariably discovered that the wealth came to them at precisely the moment when it would alter the course of their destiny. A poor farmer might unearth enough gold to save his village from starvation, but only after learning to value community over personal gain. A greedy merchant might find a treasure that ruined him, teaching him that some prices are too high to pay. The grimoires hint at a deeper truth: that Purson's greatest treasures are not gold or silver, but the hidden potentials within human souls. The courage lying dormant in a coward's heart, the wisdom concealed in a fool's seemingly random words, the love buried beneath years of bitterness and fear. These, the texts suggest, are the true riches that Purson guards and occasionally reveals to those worthy of receiving them. But accessing such treasures requires more than mere summoning rituals. It demands a willingness to confront what lies hidden within oneself, to excavate not just buried gold, but buried truths that might prove far more valuable and far more dangerous. The most striking aspect of Purson's manifestation involves his unusual mount, a bear upon which he rides with regal bearing. But this is no ordinary beast of the forest. In the symbolic language of medieval mysticism, the bear represents something far more profound than mere strength or ferocity. The bear, among all creatures, possesses a unique relationship with time itself. Through hibernation, it literally disappears from the world for months, dwelling in a space between life and death, consciousness and dreams. When it emerges, it carries with it the wisdom of that liminal space, that borderland between states of being. For Purson to choose the bear as his steed suggests mastery over these threshold states, the ability to travel between the world of waking consciousness and the deeper realms where true knowledge resides. The medieval texts describe his approach as both majestic and unsettling: the sound of massive paws upon unseen ground, the sight of a crowned figure mounted upon primal power. In his hand, Purson carries a serpent, another symbol rich with ancient meaning. The snake represents not evil, as later traditions would suggest, but wisdom, transformation, and the cyclical nature of existence. Like the serpent that sheds its skin, Purson offers the possibility of transformation, of shedding old limitations to embrace new understanding. Together, the bear and serpent form a powerful combination, the bear representing the deep contemplative state necessary for receiving wisdom, the serpent representing the wisdom itself and its transformative power. Those who witnessed Purson's approach understood that they stood in the presence of forces that could remake them entirely. But transformation, as the ancient texts warn, is never without cost. To ride with Purson upon his bear of time requires leaving behind everything familiar, everything safe, everything that once defined the limits of possible experience. The connection between Purson and King Solomon reaches back into the mists of biblical legend, where wisdom and power converged in the figure of Israel's greatest king. According to tradition, Solomon possessed a magical ring bearing a seal that granted him authority over demons and spirits, including the great King Purson himself. The Lesser Key of Solomon, compiled in the medieval period but claiming much older origins, presents Purson as one of 72 entities bound by Solomon's wisdom and authority. Yet the relationship described in these texts suggests something more complex than simple domination. Solomon, renowned for his wisdom, recognized in Purson a kindred spirit, another seeker of knowledge who understood the true value of hidden truths. The legends speak of Solomon summoning Purson not for personal gain, but to understand the deeper mysteries of existence. Through their exchanges, Solomon learned to see beyond the immediate future of his kingdom to the larger patterns that would shape human destiny. The temple he built became more than a house of worship. It became a repository of knowledge that Purson helped him gather from across time and space. But the most intriguing aspect of their relationship involves the question of who truly served whom. While the grimoires present Purson as bound to Solomon's will, other accounts suggest a partnership between two beings who recognized in each other the same insatiable hunger for understanding. Solomon's famous judgment and wisdom may have been enhanced by conversations with one who could see the consequences of every decision across the span of centuries. The seal itself, described in various medieval texts, represents more than magical authority. It symbolizes the bond between human wisdom and supernatural knowledge, the agreement between mortal seekers and immortal guardians of truth that knowledge once gained carries with it eternal responsibility. As our journey through the mysteries of Purson draws to its close, we find ourselves where all true wisdom leads, not to answers, but to deeper questions. Standing at the threshold we crossed at the beginning, we carry with us the weight of what we have glimpsed, the burden of knowledge that changes how we see the world around us. Purson remains what he has always been, a mystery wrapped in ancient symbols, a figure whose true nature lies just beyond the reach of complete understanding. Perhaps this is as it should be. Perhaps the greatest wisdom lies not in solving the puzzle of his existence, but in allowing ourselves to be changed by the questions he represents. The human face upon the lion's body, the rider on the bear of time, the keeper of treasures, both material and spiritual. These images linger in the mind long after the books are closed, the candles extinguished, the rituals forgotten. They speak to something deep within us, some recognition of powers and possibilities that exist just beyond the edges of ordinary experience. In the end, Purson offers us not answers but mirrors, reflections of our own hunger for knowledge, our own desire to transcend the limitations of linear time and finite understanding. He stands as a reminder that the universe contains depths we have barely begun to explore, mysteries that challenge our most basic assumptions about the nature of reality itself. And so we leave you with the image that began our journey, that enigmatic figure whose human eyes hold the wisdom of ages, whose lion's strength carries him through realms we can barely imagine. The question is not whether Purson exists, but whether we have the courage to embrace the questions his existence poses. What treasures lie hidden in the deepest chambers of your own being, waiting to be discovered by one willing to pay the price of true knowledge? If these ancient mysteries have stirred something within you, if you find yourself hungry for more forgotten wisdom and hidden truths, join our growing community of seekers. Subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments below. What mythological figures or ancient mysteries would you like us to explore next? Share your thoughts, your experiences, your own encounters with the unexplained. The conversation continues in the space between questions and answers.